dear graduates. You've heard it before, but I will say it again. You are now officially a graduate of EU Business School. You've made it. Congratulations from me to you. What an incredible milestone you reached today. For years, I would even say decades, if you think about it. You've worked towards this goal, and now it's here. So I think after we made it through all these speeches, we must have some fun today as well. We deserve it. You deserved it. And I want to take, just before that, some time to look forward with you to what's now next after your achievement here. But before I do, just a little bit of looking backwards, okay? And I think you can take that quite literally. First of all, I want you to look back at all what you've accomplished here. And that's really important. You've done that. During your work or your journey at EU, you've put to work your intellect, you've made efforts, and as Dr. Crane said, or Luc said before, you've shown persistence. And it's because of this persistence, of course, that you receive a degree today with your name on it. And so, really, enjoy it because you have earned it. But I also want you all to look back, literally look back, to the other people that are here in the room today with you. Because they are the ones that helped you get here. I think, of course, in the first instance of all of you parents that are here today, other family and friends, of course, the faculty, which I've noticed by your applauses, is really much appreciated. And so while your name is on that degree, please remember that this degree is also theirs. They believed in you. They set you up for success. They saw your talent and nourished it. They motivated you to keep going. Am I right? So to all of you, family, friends, faculty, we also say to you a very big thank you today. Now, are you ready for the career advice? Yeah? Okay, I'll keep it to 3 pieces of career advice, okay? But you might be surprised, okay? Because it is not going to be the career advice that you were expecting to get today. And I'll prove it to you with my first bit of advice. Don't follow your passion. I know, that's surprising, right? That's surprising. It's surprising because it is the most common advice that you will get at graduation that maybe you already got. I heard it also from many of the CEOs I spoke to, and you have heard it from the CEOs that we've spoken to together during our Learning from Leaders conferences. And, you know, I've thought a lot about this. The people who say this, I think they really mean it. And they probably really are passionate about what they do. And also, they became very successful by following their passion. So what do I mean then, not to follow your passion? There is a problem with the advice. You may have seen this article, and if you haven't, I advise you to look it up. Some researchers, just last month, they found, and we trust researchers, you know, you're faculty just like you, so these are people to trust, right? They wrote in the New York Times last month that when asked to identify their passions, I quote, people seem to do precisely what following their passions is supposed to discourage. They conform to societal expectations. The passions that young people are supposed to be following seem highly malleable and susceptible to influence. So what does that mean? If you think about it, I think we all understand it, right? If we're in our 20s, for most of our lives so far, we have indeed mostly conformed to society's expectations of us. We went to school. We were good students, and we went to business school, really good business school, by the way. So we spend all this time in education listening to what other people think we should learn about, or care about, or do, or know. So here's my advice. Don't follow your passion, find your passion, right? When you look back at your career in 50 years, you will realize that the most precious years were those right after graduation. So, looking forward, these years are directly ahead of you. They will allow you to discover, to travel, to try out. And so you're free to experience, to do what you like, where you like, so go ahead and do that. And then you will find your passion, and then you will be able to pursue that passion. There's really big benefits to doing this rather than to immediately get into it. And the first is, the wider you cast your net, the more likely you are able to find both your passion and to become a truly unique professional. And I discovered this myself, by the way. I started my career just starting out with a job that everyone thought was the best job to have, which is a management consultant at the time. I did that for 2 years. And only afterwards I discovered that actually it was much more interesting to be entrepreneurial, to be traveling, to be a journalist, which I am today. I went to countries that few other people have gone to, and I met other people that other people don't know. I learned skills that other people didn't have. And today, I reap the benefits from that. The second benefit, I would say, is that by taking your time to discover your passion, you'll probably also learn to combine your passion with 3 other aspects which are crucially important. It is, namely, to combine your passion with what you're good at. Right? This is the concept of ikigai. I'm sure you've heard of this concept, right? To combine your passion with what you're good at, what the world needs, what President Ogi talked about, and what you can get paid for. It's important to find what lies at the intersection of these 4. Don't just follow your passion or find your passion, but then find out, does it have an intersection with what the world needs? Does it have an intersection with what I am good at? And does it have an intersection with what I can get paid for? So that is my first advice to you. Don't follow your passion, discover your passion, and then pursue it. Okay? The second one, again, not the one you were expecting to hear, I think. Don't move fast and break things. Move slowly and build things. Okay? I grew up in an era, and I think most of you as well, where people absolutely revered tech entrepreneurs. I mean, Mr. Kraan, President Kraan, talked about it very well. We live in an era of technology, and we, of course, because of all the possibilities of technology, we admire those at the top of technology. But many of the ones that were at the top of technology in recent years or recent decades, they actually thought, like Mark Zuckerberg, that it was a good idea to move fast and break things, right? They thought it was good to break conventional wisdom, not to consider anything written in stone, and there's some value to that. And it worked, because through that approach, we got Facebook, we got Instagram, which we all use. I'm sure I'm going to be seeing some of you on Instagram later today. And, now we have the metaverse. But I think most of us have also been long enough around for now to know that when you move fast and break things, you can also destroy a lot that you did not intend to destroy. We've seen, of course, the rise and fall of Facebook's reputation in this regard through the harm that it caused in societies from America to Myanmar. But the downfall, I want you to remember this, the downfall can be personal as well. We've seen that with tech entrepreneurs like Travis Kalanick at Uber, or Elizabeth Holmes, even worse case, at Theranos. They were forced to quit, and one of them ended up in jail because of the move fast and break things approach. And so that's why I would suggest to you that over the long term, and this is something that the CEOs I spoke to agree with, that it's better to take your time, not to skip any step. It will make you enjoy the moment more and make what you build personally or professionally more durable. That matters, both for yourself and for the world around you. We live in a world, as Professor Ogi said, or President Ogi said, where we've destroyed enough already, right? We need to now build things. We need to build things. We need to rebuild things. We need to rebuild trust. We need to rebuild institutions. We need to rebuild our environment. And on a personal level, I think we should also just enjoy the ride, not rush. A career lasts for 40 years. Maybe for us it will now last 50 years. Think about that. That's twice as long as we've been alive. So I think it's quite okay if you're not a billionaire by the age 30. And remember also, the biggest asset that you have, the biggest asset, is your credibility. And that takes time to build up, but it can disappear in an instant. So take your time, move slowly, and build things. Okay. I think you're going to like this last one, though, if you didn't like the second one. Finally, don't work hard. Work smart. Okay, work smart. I've heard many CEOs say that to get to the top, there is no secret sauce. You need to be the first in the office in the morning and the last to leave at night. Most recently, for example, Jensen Huang, the CEO of NVIDIA, which is now one of those trillion-dollar companies, he said in an interview that he doesn't work hard, he works insanely hard. Now, don't get me wrong, these CEOs and founders, of course, are right. Their success has been based on working very hard. And at least for the first decade of your career, I'm sorry about this, I think you should work hard, okay? I think it can pay off to work hard. The harder you work, the more you master skills, and the more you'll advance. But I have to say, as I got into the second decade of my career, I found that there is an other way to rise to the top. It's to work smart instead of hard. And that's because at a certain stage of your career, I can tell you from experience, an additional hour of work in the office at your laptop will only give you marginal gains at best. At worst, your productivity drops, or you even burn out. So, what's the way to get out of this catch-22? You guessed it, it's to work smart. Work smart. Work as productively as you can for a given number of hours a day. I mean, you have to work, okay? Don't get me wrong. And use the other hours to expand your knowledge and your network. Your knowledge and your network. I found that just as productive. To meet people for lunch or for drinks, or to go for a run and to listen to an audiobook. Theoretically, if we do that, that's not working, right? That doesn't count as working. But actually, we are working in that way because those things make us knowledgeable and they give us a network. And those, next to your credibility, are two of the most important assets that you can bring to your career at a certain level. And there's a side benefit. You won't burn out because you go for a run or you go for some other sports, maybe here for some lake sports. Keeps you healthy and fit. I think the Romans knew this already a long time ago. And interacting with other people, of course, will also keep you sane. And it's also what life is just about. So, don't work hard, work smart. Those are my 3 pieces of advice for you as you enter the next phase in your career. I'll say them once again if you didn't remember them. Don't follow your passion, discover your passion, and then pursue it. Don't move fast and break things. Move slowly and build things. And don't work hard, work smart. I'm sure that when you do this, you will have a fantastic journey ahead of you. I can't wait to see how all of you will be spreading your wings and working to achieve all that you dream of. While I have you, I do want to come back to the very first thing that I said. And that is, remember all along, to value your family. You see, over our lifetime, a career is really just one part of what we do and who we are. Our family, though, the ones that we were born into and the one that we choose, they are there forever. It will be your family that is there in good times and in bad, and from the beginning to the end. So, have one final look at your family with you here today, or think about them. Because you may receive a diploma today. In fact, you will receive a diploma today, and you will spread your wings, but you will always have your family. With that, I want to congratulate you one final time and wish you all the best for the journey ahead. Thank you.